Komorebi. It's a Japanese word, and though not definitive, its meaning can roughly be described as sunlight that filters through the leaves of trees. Like a fair few words attempted to be translated from foreign languages, it is one with no direct, easy translation into English. No matter how hard the weebs try, they just can't get it to fit neatly. But why try to? Well, unless you go through the whole effort of learning Japanese just so the feeling of Komorebi makes sense in a clean, simple word, how else is anyone meant to understand it? Huh? You're already learning Japanese? How cultured? That's a guy. Okay, for the less distinguished folk out there, how can you know you're not missing out? After all, who wouldn't want to be able to bask under a tree, watching the ground flicker around you in golden light, and be able to say, "This is Komorebi"? But maybe you don't have to be Japanese, or pretentious, in order to enjoy the universal sight of light filtering through the leaves of trees. If only there was a better way to experience this. One that doesn't involve words on a page or pixels on a screen. You've just got to go outside. Trees? Get out and find them. Grass? You know what to do. Wait a minute. That's better. The weather's pleasant today. What do you do under a tree? Just sit? Boring. Want to go and explore? Being out in nature really does feel like you remember. Almost. Wandering aimlessly gets a little old quicker than it used to. There's no goals or objectives to follow, made up or otherwise. And even without any of your friends, you swear that as a kid, you could do this for hours. What are you supposed to think about out here? When you're walking around outside with nothing to do, how do you occupy yourself like you used to? Your mind runs too fast. You find it so hard to just stay out here with nothing planned. Then, maybe you do need an objective. You're not fighting dragons or harassing Koroks, but there are mountains to climb. How about that one? See if you can get all the way up there. That should keep your brain occupied. Hopefully. It'd be fun. Pack some gear, lunch and a bit of water, and try and give the hike up a shot. Loads of people hike around here. How hard could it be? Actually, how long has it been since you've walked that far? But you've done stuff like this plenty before. If you could do it then, why not now? Maybe you could have done with a little more exercise lately. Well, if you can plan a route just easy enough for you to do, maybe a hike up to the top would be worth it. You just need to commit to actually going. Finally here. You waited for a good day at least. It really has been a while since you did something like this. You have such fond memories of going out on walks, clambering up trees and exploring nature. But they feel like kind of distant memories at this point. Young you would have loved this, stopping at every climbable looking tree and spending 20 minutes trying to solve it like a puzzle. Though, when you're a kid, it's essentially part of the job, to want to play out in nature, doing whatever you want. In hindsight, it wasn't like you could do literally whatever you wanted. You were still a kid after all. But what's stopping you from doing that now? You could spend an hour climbing just a single tree. No one's there to tell you not to. Even coming here in the first place is purely on you. And freeing up a whole day to go hiking, or anything else for that matter, means you've got more freedom than you'd ever had as a kid, whether you realise it or not. But falling out of a tree sounds a lot more painful than it used to, and those monkeys are looking at you funny. Come on though, now that you're free to explore however you want, why not make the most of it? It's kind of weird to be this high up, and you're not even halfway there. But as you sit, you realise how quiet it is now. The sound of the city has gotten softer and softer as you ascend. All the way out here, far away from the responsibilities and distractions of your daily life, this feeling reminds you of how calming nature can be. Like being young again, you have nothing to worry about apart from the present moment here. Worrying about what anyone thinks of you matters much less when you're surrounded by nothing but birds and trees. So, when letting go of that, what's important now? When it's just you, free to go wherever and to think about whatever your mind lets you? How do you make the most of this? Do you need to make the most of this? You might not get another chance anytime soon, so this time in nature has really got to count. But you're already getting a lot of fresh air, and burning off some puppy fat. Maybe that's enough. And if it's not, and you still feel some burden pulling you to try and maximise your time, maybe you should get up again and keep going for now. You'll have more time to think of the next stop. For a lot of people, placing yourself in the present moment can be hard. With so much always on your mind, so many expectations and worries, taking yourself away from that feels impossible. It's like you have to pry your brain away from all of it just to get a second to learn to breathe. But you're here now, with nothing to do but climb further and reach the top. You're far enough in that there's really no use panicking about whether you've left the stove on, or if that one email needs replying to. You have new problems now. Are you going the right way? Did you bring enough water? Is a mountain lion going to eat you? Wait, is it? Despite all your worries, there'll be moments of that familiar feeling that all these problems need solving. But unlike usual, your body is a tool that dictates how it goes. A hike puts you in control to determine how it pans out and to let you go at your own pace. Maybe you've been needing that feeling, to be in control, to give yourself a challenge away from the usual chaos and into something more fulfilling. Modern life can make your problems seem so unsolvable, like someone else is responsible and there's nothing you can do about them. Dealing with convoluted paperwork or infuriating back and forth emails that make you want to implode, they become the most soul-crushing reality of a lot of people's days. Why have the humans saw this? Did they decide to make the 9 to 5? Sadly, not everyone can achieve the farm girl dream. One day. But it's a dream for a reason, right? It'd be very hard work, you know. Yet being out of the city, surrounded by nature, exercising your body and detached from societal pressure, a lot of people have simply never experienced that. A life that sounds so different. One away from all the chaos, one with everyday meaning. But back in reality, maybe all you can do for now is take the first step. Out on a hike and momentarily away from it all, the rhythm of your footsteps and the views around you allow your mind to quietly drift away. You made it, and he's still in one piece. Congrats. You can take a seat and rest for as long as you like now. Breathing in the fresh air, looking around at the world underneath you, it's pretty cool. And from here on out, it's all downhill. Thank God. But as you sit here with your mind free for just a little while, you can't help but think back to a certain something. You reflected earlier on the idea of Komorebi, and if understanding words means anything at all. It wasn't something you'd ever thought about until your dad gave you a notepad with its definition on the cover. And that reminded you of another thing your dad gave you. It was something he'd brought back years ago from the library where he worked. They were doing a clear out of old stock, and he brought home a huge pile of Japanese books to show you. He told you to keep whatever you like, and one of them just so happened to be on Japanese words and their meaning. Funnily enough, you never read it, until it was time to go abroad for a year by yourself, and he told you to bring a book along for the flight. At the last minute, you chose this one, though you still don't really know why. Now reading it for the first time on the other side of the world, you found a passage about the word omakage. Initially, the word omo referred to the principal aspect, or face, of a person. In other words, it signified an aspect of the person that represented the whole of his identity. The second half of omakage, kage, has a rather curious denotion. In the phrase kage o otosu, which means to cast a shadow, for example, kage means shadow or silhouette. On the other hand, when you say the word tsukikage, you're referring not to a shadow, but rather to the luminescence of the moon. When the lights are on, kage signifies light. When the lights are off, kage indicates shadow. Hence, you can say that omakage represents the essence of a given person or illuminated thing. As such, an omakage has a luminescent, radiant dimension. When we use the word omakage, we are recalling that person or thing with a sense of nostalgia, a tinge of fond affection. Put simply, the basic premise underlies omakage in all its forms is none other than love. In this light, you can see how sentiments are intimately intertwined with language and words. At the same time, however, you can also understand how we use language almost unconsciously, only vaguely aware of its contours. When you think about it, then, you realise that we find certain words beautiful and pleasant precisely because they possess within them the very foundation of beauty and pleasantness. Words contain the basis of beauty, and drawing on that inherent feature gives the things we write and say a richness, allowing beautiful words to do remarkable things for us. Flicking through the rest of it, you almost wish you had read this sooner, back when you first received it. Not that you can change that now. Things turned out the way they did. The fact you read it at all seems like a miracle, considering the circumstances. Yet still, there's quite a lot in there that might have helped your younger self. All you wanted to do outdoors as a kid was play, to explore the forests, climb trees and collect sticks. It was fun, and not something you'd ever change. You've relived part of that exploration today, and now it's time to descend. But maybe it could do even more for you now. After all, sitting here and appreciating nature in this new light is pretty tranquil, don't you think?